Alright, what's going on, Phantom Forces? Fanbase come at you with our Pokemon Draft League Draft Analysis with the Dancing Nebby. Okay, so anyway, actually, what's going on, friends? Welcome to our IBL Season 7 Draft Analysis. We are the coach of the New York Cosmogs, hence the Dancing Nebby down there. First off, I want to thank you guys so much for patiently awaiting for this. It's been a long time since I've done an upload required league, and much less this will be our first Gen 8 Wi-Fi Draft League. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Dark Devil 26 is the commissioner of this league, so big shout outs to him for letting me come back this season. And without much further ado, because I don't have a whole lot of time to go into this, I do want to go ahead and get started with our draft recap. Now, as you guys can see over on the right, this was like standard GBA style draft. So we had 11 mons to pick. We had to have one a tier 1, one a tier 2, 2 tier 3, one tier 4, one tier 5, 4 free picks out of based off of 400 free points that we were allowed to use, and a G-Max captain, which was like the gimmick of this generation essentially. So we got pick a Gigantamax Pokemon as essentially our Mega or our captain, so to speak. So I know you all are tired of seeing Nebby dance, so let's take a look at what we've picked up. We were given the 5th pick in the draft, which is not too shabby. I will say, originally, before we actually revealed the draft order, I wanted to pick Hydreigon round 1 because it's freaking Hydreigon. It's one of the best mons in the format so far, I think. In the Wi-Fi format, I should say, until they start releasing more mons and stuff. But Hydra is easily one of my favorites. But as soon as I said that, I actually Heavy Metal Pokemon Eric decided he was going to take it, and he was pick 2, so there was no way I was getting it. Now, that being said, we still have 5th pick in the draft, so we had a good slew of mons from the top that we were going to be able to pick up. For one thing, funny enough, I'm trying to think who got Dragapult, but it wasn't me. Funny enough, I could have had Dragapult, but there was a better mon on the board. And I know you're thinking, wow, a round 1 pick Pokemon Dragapult didn't get picked because, and it was still on the board after 5th pick. I'm like, yeah, that's because Melmetal was on the board still. Your boy grabbed Melmetal at pick number 5, which is crazy to me. This Pokemon is not super versatile. I know that sounds odd, but you all know I like to pick versatile mons. But this Pokemon has 0 switch-ins in Wi-Fi. Let me repeat. This Pokemon has 0 switch-ins in Wi-Fi seeing currently. There are 2 Pokemon that can take 2 banded double iron bashes from this Pokemon right now. Pretty much. And that would be any of the Rotom forms. Either Rotom Heat or Rotom Wash. Actually, those are the only ones that I can think of. And then Cinescourge. I'm pretty sure those are the only ones that can really take 2 banded double iron bashes from this thing. This thing is incredibly strong, base 143 attack and defense, base 135 HP, and funny enough, a decent special attack set in 80. 65 Speed F is meh. It's not atrocious, but it's not that great. It makes it quite easily 2-hit KO'd if you don't invest in special defense. Speed is where it kind of sucks, and that's why people are in Trick Room with it a lot. It's base 34 speed, so it's not fast at all. But that's the thing, is this thing still forces switches, no matter how slow it is. And if you get it up under Trick Room, this thing is devastating to teams. This thing is one of the greatest wall breakers in the game right now. Like I said, and then to couple all this off, double iron bash being base 60 power per hit. I believe it's a 20% flinch or 30% flinch change or something per hit, and it's Iron Fist boosted. So it's literally base 120 power move, stab, Iron Fist boosted, and has a 47% chance to flinch, essentially. That's insane. This mon is so good. Then it gets the elemental punches, of course. I actually don't think it gets fire punch, but it just gets stuff like rock slide, high horsepower. I know it gets earthquake too, but high horsepower if you're dealing with terrain. It's got superpowers. Trying to think of other stuff. I think that's pretty much covers it. It does actually get toxic and arrest this gen because of, I don't know. It's funny. You can transfer it from Let's Go. It actually does get toxic, which is very uncommon for mons in this generation. Now, with the next pick, we had to go all the way from pick 6 back to pick 6. So we had 6 through 16. Then 16 back up through 6, and then me. And somehow this Pokemon still lasted to me. This was a core. Like, the first 4 mons that I pick in this are mons that, as soon as I saw my medal on the board, these are the first 4 that I knew I wanted. So, funny enough, I managed to get all 4 of them, and after that, it's just went to garbage. But, the next mon we got was Keldeo. We managed to get your boy Keldeo. Now, look at this offensive core. Keldeo Melmetal has almost no counterplay to these 2 mons, like, put together. So, Melmetal covers Keldeo's psychic and fairy weakness, and Keldeo offensively pressures Melmetal's ground and fire weaknesses, and doesn't give 2 craps about psychic weakness, especially or fighting weakness, especially because now it has access to Air Slash, which is crazy to think about. They gave it Aura Sphere in case you weren't running Secret Sword for some reason. They gave this thing some good stuff, some good utility. I mean, it still got Taunt, still can run Toxic. But yeah, this thing getting Air Slash was really big for it, because normally I had to rely on Icy Wind to hit grass types. Now it has a similarly accurate but far more powerful, super effective move on it. So yeah, this Keldeo is going to be really good. It's deceptively bulky with, I think, base 90 HP and 90 in its defenses as well, so it's really solid HP, really solid bulk. Then in whopping base 108 speed and, what is it, 129 or 128 special attack. It's something stupid like that. This thing and Melmetal coupled together are really good breakers for each other. Now, the next couple mons I wanted were some walls, and very reliable walls at that. So, funny enough, like I said, these next 2 picks are mons that I wanted and got. Now, I debated for a long time. I was going to originally go with Runerigus and Runerigus and Hatterene. So Hatterene got sniped of me, which really sucks because I really wanted Hatterene. But so I had to scrap that plan before I even got to picking Runerigus. So the next mon I picked was, of course, Hippowdon. Y'all know what Hippowdon does. Y'all know I love Hippowdon. Yes, Sophie is back on the team. Y'all know that I love me a good stealth rocker. Hippowdon is by far, I think, the most reliable rocker in the game. It and Clefable are the 2 best rockers in the game. Stealth Rush Clef is one thing because you don't know what it's going to do, and all of a sudden it sets up rocks on you, it's over. Hippo, you know it's going to set up rocks, but the thing is, even if you taunt it, the next turn you could still get smacked real hard with that base 117 attack. Or what I think is base 117, or 10, I don't know what base attack it is. I think it's like 112 or 114. Somewhere over base 110 attack. And a stab earthquake is going to hurt, even with that investment. Like, this thing hits hard. They gave it some nice access to, like, body press, high horsepower. I think they gave it heavy slam now. On top of it getting, like, its obvious elemental fangs. It gets stone edge. It gets crunch. It gets all sorts of good stuff. And this thing with Sandstream could really help wear down opponents that have a little bit more passive teams, or stuff with recovery that requires, you know, sunlight or just normal weather to be up. So Sandstream can really help shut that down. Or if an opposing team has sand of their own, running Sandforce can let this thing really punch, despite it being defensive. Now the next Pokemon on my team is another wall I wanted, and I instantly knew I wanted a Cleric, a Wish Passer. Now y'all are gonna hate me for this pick, but this thing couples incredibly well with Keldeo. and Melmetal to a degree. Well, not really Keldeo, or not really Melmetal per se, or really Keldeo. It shares a weakness with each of them, but two different weaknesses. The real thing is that this thing is just a very, very reliable wall, reliable wish passer, reliable. This thing can run Baton Pass if I wanted to. Say hello, bringing back Dumbreon. Fat has returned from APA Season 3. Y'all know what Fat does. It's Tier 3. And, so I've only used 180 free points so far out of my 400 for getting Keldeo. Now, y'all are going to see, after this, I was just sniped to Timbuktu and back and just really hurt. Like, this draft really sucked after this. I got these 4 Mons, and, like I said, this Mon is really good. It has a couple of techs up its sleeve, things like, obviously it gets like Foul Play, but then it gets Taunt as well, so people forget that. It does get Sucker Punch, which people seem to forget. It does get Psychic, it does get Calm Mind, or I think it's Calm Mind. I don't remember if it gets Calm Mind or not. I'm pretty sure it gets Calm Mind. It gets things like Psychic, Dark Bolts. So this thing isn't too bad, especially if you're running like, if you want to be that guy and run like a Calm Mind set for some reason. I'm pretty sure this thing is Calm Mind. I'm pretty sure this thing is Calm Mind. I have to double check. If it doesn't, oh well. It's just a more reliable wall. Another wall to couple with Hippowdon. They don't share any weaknesses, which is nice. They do struggle with a little bit, so we do have some other Fat in the back as well to help. But next up, I wanted to grab some utility Mons, and y'all know I like to have me a fairy on the team. Y'all also know that I am not opposed to running double fairies, but y'all will see that in a minute. But originally, I had drafted Chandelure here. Now, Chandelure is an incredible Mon, but with a pick directly after it shared a speed tier. Both Mons were special, both Mons were offensive. Both kind of, funny enough, I could see myself bringing them both to games a lot of times, and I really didn't want that because they're weak to very similar things, and they really don't accomplish different roles. So what I did instead, we were able to make 2 swaps after the draft that wouldn't cost us our transactions. So I ended up swapping Chandelure for Ribombee. Yes, Ribombee was still on the board after the draft was over. I don't understand how, but your boy got it, so that's all that matters. Now, y'all know what Ribombee does. Ribombee sets out webs. Sometimes. But look at Keldeo and look at Sticky Webs. Ooh, that is scary to me. So, Ribombee is here mostly to be a speed tier for people to prep for. Base 124 speed is very high in this format. Because Talonflame doesn't exist, because the only speed tiers that outspeed Ribombee are Weavile, Barraskewda, and Dragapult currently. And actually Zorora, because that's allowed. Or that's actually in this league. Well, it's been released. So, there are only 4 Mons that outspeed this thing in the entire format. Which is crazy. This thing outspeeds Inteleon, this thing outspeeds Dugtrio, this thing outspeeds Boltund. So, this thing is really good at being a speed tier that they have to prep for. It also has just the right amount of speed so that if they're trying to creep Keldeo and they're in between this and Keldeo, they have to run a speed boosting nature. So that does force a good bit of prep. Oh, and Excelgorix outspeeds this too. I forgot that Mon was in this. So 5 Mons out of the 400 and something that are in this generation, not counting legendaries. So Ribombee is good at what it does. It can be offensive, it can be support. Does get aromatherapy, so we have another cleric. It can be a sweeper with Quiver Dance. It can be a breaker with Specs. It can be a speed tier check with Scarf. It can be or speed tier check with Sticky Webs. It's another form of hazards. So right now we're rocking with Rocks and Sticky Webs at the moment. This thing also can get some initiative with U-turn or Baton Pass, so it's not like it's completely useless. This thing is very good at what it does because of its speed tier, and on top of that, with Shield Dust, things like Fake Out or Scald or things like that aren't actually going to be able to do their secondary effects. So Fake Out doesn't flinch, Scald doesn't burn. Yeah, this thing is a decent sash lead, so that can be really helpful. But yeah, that's enough about Ribombee. The next Mon was the Mon that I saw a couple with Chandelure was really going to be a problem because of speed tiers and just rolls. But this mon does a lot for the team, and I can end up running both fairies each week, and they'll do different things, which is really nice. Say hello to Gardevoir. Oh boy, haven't used Gardevoir in a while. I think I used it back in the something or another. I don't remember what it was called. The PGL. When I finished out that season for a team, I picked up Gardevoir. Oh, Gardevoir's so good. I love Gardevoir. This Pokemon can break teams so quickly, and it can run a defensive role if I needed to. It's another Wish Passer, another Cleric. This thing now gets Teleport. And, well, I say now, it always got Teleport, but Teleport now has use. So, Teleport is -6 initiative moves. So this thing is a guaranteed free switch into something like Keldeo or Melmetal if I want to run Teleport one week, which could be crazy. I wish this thing got Baton Pass. It'd be so much better. But this thing, if I wanted to, can chew a hit and then teleport out to one of my offensive threats. Ooh, that's gonna look scary. But this thing, with its base 125 special attack, base 80 speed is nice, Scarfer range. And yeah. If you're not running Scarf Dragapult, this thing does check it. And if you're running Scarf Dragapult, this thing actually probably still checks it, because this thing really just dents teams. Psychic and Fairy is very spammable stab. Psychic and Moonblast are two of the most spammable moves in the game, honestly. Very little counterplay to the combination of the two, aside from Steel types, which we have very good answers for so far in Keldeo, Hippowdon, and you'll see some more here in a second. Now, the next mon I wanted to grab, I wanted some more hazards. I wanted a Spiker. I wanted a Toxic Spiker. I wanted to ground a Poison to absorb Toxic Spikes, because right now my team is kind of looking like Toxic Spikes food. My only immunity is Melmetal, and Keldeo does not appreciate being Toxic Spiked or poisoned at all. No reliable recovery on that. The only mon I actually have here that doesn't. The only mons that don't have reliable recovery are my breakers so far. So say hello to Quillfish. Y'all know I love me some Quillfish. This boy is such a good boy. This thing is actually a problem for a lot of teams too, because of the fact that base 85 speed tier is nothing to sneeze at. But the problem being is that this thing has finally been allowed to use Swords Dance and Aqua Jet together, because they gave it Swords Dance as a TR, Aqua Jet is an egg move in this game. So it's now finally legal to run an Intimidate Aqua Jet set with Swords Dance. Ooh, this thing is going to be so good. Base 95 attack is pretty good with the Swords Dance set, but a better thing is this thing is a decently fast Taunter with Spikes and Toxic Spikes. This thing gets stuff like Thunder Wave, it gets Haze, it gets Destiny Bond, I think it gets Memento too. So Memento support from Gardevoir and this are really appreciated in things like Melmetal and Keldeo and Ribombee, and a couple other mons to have in the back, even though at this point these next mods are kind of just sleeper mods. But really, you're going to see a lot of these mods really support Keldeo and Melmetal really well. So after that, what's funny is I actually just realized I only have one rocker on this entire team. But you know what? It's okay. I don't need a bunch of rockers. Not when Hippowdon is one of the best rockers in the game. I won't always be using rocks, because honestly, I have found in this generation rocks are a little harder to set up. Anyway, Quillfish, y'all know what it does. This thing is one of my favorites. Y'all know what it is. Next mon, I decided to start diving into some Gen 8 mons, because I really wanted to test some out, and I've seen this mon put to really good use. I know it shares a weakness with Umbreon. Again, shares a weakness with Melmetal again, shares a weakness with Keldeo again. However, this thing is a problem for a lot of teams, because you let it get one move off, and suddenly it outpaces your whole team. Say hello to Morpeko. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Morpeko, what? That thing's a little rat rodent thing. Have you seen this thing's coverage? First off, Aura Wheel is broken. Okay, base 110 power, always stab, always changing types. So there is no real immunity to this thing. You switch it once on the first Aura Wheel. If you're weak to the second one, like say you switch in a Rodriguez or a Golurk, you switch in on the first Aura Wheel, suddenly the second Aura Wheel could potentially dent you, or even kill you if it's banded. Like Aura Wheel being a type switching move, on top of that being base 110 power, and every time it gets off damage it boosts your speed. This thing is ridiculous. It gets Parting Shot for more initiative. Volt Switch for more initiative. If you don't want to run Parting Shot for some reason. It gets Elemental Fangs. It gets it doesn't get Play Rough actually. It gets Outrage. It gets Stomping Tantrum, C-Bomb, Bullet Seed. This thing is really crazy. And then of course it gets, I think it gets Nuzzle. This thing gets some, and if I get up enough speed boost, Power Trip could be pretty decent. So have fun switching into this thing because this thing is actually really strong, and base 97 speed was really good for my speed tiers because between Keldeo and Gardevoir, or between Keldeo and Quillfish, I currently had nothing. So Morpeko just provides that speed tier that forces people to run speed boosting natures between Quillfish or Gardevoir and Morpeko. Same thing between Morpeko and Keldeo. Now the next mon I have on my team, oh, this thing also gets Rapid Spin. Fun fact. Speaking of, so does the next mon I have on my team. And this mon is a sleeper mon if I ever saw one. Okay, y'all know I don't mind doubling up on Psychics, but this thing is crazy because it's another reliable recovery mon for one thing. Second off, this thing is going to be a key to shutting down things that are trying to slow down Melmetal's rampage with screens. Say hello to Mr. Rhyme from tier 4. So y'all are seeing a little bit of a trend here is that I suddenly don't have any tier 5 mons, but I got 2 tier 4 free picks. So y'all know what that means. Anyway, this mon, I love this thing. Okay, first off, this thing has a decent attack stat in 80, but 110 special attack and 100 SPDF are really good. And a nice boost in HP from Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime has base 50 HP, this thing got base 80, so this thing is really thick. On top of that, they gave this thing Slack Off and Rapid Spin. And then on top of this thing has like Ice Sharp, Fake Out, Sucker Punch. Then you give it like Psychic, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry. Really, this thing only needs like Freeze Dry and Psychic to really put in a lot of work. But it also gets some physical moves that could really be good. Drain Punch. But yeah, the main thing that I like this thing for is Screen Cleaner. Because if I got somebody that wants to set up Veil on me, or got somebody that wants to set up screens, somebody wants to set up Veil on me or set up screens and kind of stop Melmetal from denting their team, this thing can come in and just clean them away as quick as possible and then pop right back out. This thing can be really good utility. This thing can also be pretty offensive because I think it gets Nasty Plot. So this thing can really put in some work. I'm not sure, it might get Baton Pass as well, which would be crazy. The next mon is another mon that I decided that I was going to make a swap for, because originally I think I have, gosh, what did I have? That speech. Let me actually check Discord real quick, because I had a different Pokemon in my tier 5 slot, but let's see. That's right. Originally I had Rotom Fan in this slot, but I didn't want to have, and while I wanted to have the flying typing, I kind of realized that one ground spam wasn't crazy versus me. Like my the mons that are weak to ground on my team either have some good initiative, or they can soften the blows of other attacks, or they just don't care about ground moves on the whole. But the mons that do care about ground types really help me pivot into my bulkier mons that can then get into things that threaten the ground types. For example, Mr. Rhyme here is fat enough to switch into ground type moves very easily. Ribombee can chew a couple ground hit moves, especially if they're special. Paladon doesn't care, Umbreon doesn't care, and they've really pivoted well to things like Keldeo or Gardevoir or Mr. Rhyme that can really pressure ground types. But this next mon, I knew I wanted a Ghost, and I also wanted a Trick Room Setter. And after replacing Rotom Fan, I was like, let's grab another Trick Room Setter, because I know Mr. Rhyme can, I know that Gardevoir can, but I wanted a slow Trick Room Setter. So we grabbed Dusclops. Not Dusknoir, Dusclops. This thing has the same bulk as Dusknoir, but it can use Violite. So this thing is impossible to kill in one hit, impossible to kill in 2 hits. And with things like access to Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Haze, so you can't even set up on this thing. You would have to taunt it first, and then if it spams Nightshade, good luck. It also gets nice. I think it's Nightshade and Seismic Toss, so you actually can't resist the fixed damage moves that it goes for. Like some Willow. Oh, it gets Hex. It gets Shadow Sneak as well. It gets some like Earthquake, Ice Beam. This thing is weird. But then the best thing about it is it's a Trick Room setter for my Melmetal. So that's what I really wanted, was Trick Room into Melmetal with either this or Teleport Gardevoir or Trick Room. Yeah, those two, or Baton Pass. I think Baton Pass, Mr. Rhyme could be a thing. But yeah, this thing is really gonna be helpful for pivoting into things. It won't come every game, y'all know that, but it will help pivot into a lot of things, get me a Trick Room up, or just start really being annoying and stopping things from breaking through my team, because it can just sit in there, it can Rest Talk, it can Will-O-Wisp, it can do a lot of things to really cause problems. Last mon on my team, obviously is my G-Max captain because I haven't picked it yet, and I was like, okay, I need something to give me free points back, but I want something that will actually benefit my team, you know. And right now, y'all see I'm missing two very key typings, or one very key typing in Dragon. But y'all see that what I'm really missing is a solid ground switch in, because my ground resist currently is Rebombi. So we grab G-Max Appleton, because the Apple Pie is going to join the team as our G-Max captain. Now we do not have to G-Max. We don't have to Gigantamax first turn. And we don't have to be forced to hold any certain items, so this thing can really be a problem. Because on the whole, regular Appleton's not bad. Really defensive, but still has a really good offensive typing. Grass is really good defensive typing. Dragon's a phenomenal defensive typing. Yes, it's weak to ice, but look at my team. My team does not care about ice types. My only other ice weak mon is Hippowdon. I have 3 resist, all of which really threaten ice types. I actually have 4 resist, and 3 of which really threaten ice types, and 1 does not care about ice types. 1 can spin on ice types, which is really nice. So this thing really can be a good pivot in this team. This thing can also potentially be a sweeper. Like if I want to run Trick Room into Appleton, ooh, damage. This thing has some really good. This thing is a really good signature move, and I think it's not Grab Apple, it's Apple Acid, which rollers Spadef. So every time you click Apple Acid, you keep getting the Spadef drops. And then on top of that, if you want to run like Ripen, something cheeky like that, or if you want to run Thick Fat and actually live a hit. So yeah, this thing can be really good, but this thing also gets reliable recovery again. Recover, it doesn't need synthesis, it gets recover. It gets Leech Seed. So that's one thing I really like about dragons or grasses in general, is that they have Leech Seed. So this thing having recover and Leech Seed is really nasty. So Subseed shenanigans with Appleton could really be a problem. So if I set up a Leech Seed and then Gigantamax, this thing could be getting some extra reliable recovery and start doing some really really good damage. Anyway, that, my friends, is our team over on the right. Say hello to the New York Cosmogs for Season 7 of the IBL. Our Week 1 opponent is actually going to be the Commissioner himself, Dark Devil 26, who is getting his computer, or at the time of this recording, has his computer fixed, so we should be battling tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have it uploaded at a decent time. I think the stream is this coming Sunday. Spoilers. Fourth wall, don't care. But yeah, tell me what you guys think of the team. Leave some comments. Tell me if you like it, if you think it sucks. I don't really care what your opinion is, but tell me what you think. I want to hear some feedback. I want y'all to tell me what you think. I personally like this team. Testing with this team has been a lot of fun. Keldeo and Melmetal is just disgusting. Hippo and Umbreon are really good together, and I really just like the synergy of this whole team. The team doesn't look very orthodox as far as like general drafts, but they do what I like, and they cater to my playstyle very easily, which is all I could ask for. So I think this is gonna be a good season. Thank you guys so much for watching. I gotta go to work now. I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.